Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jasmine Unique with Uniquely Chosen, and I am super excited, y'all. Today is the final day of 5 days of vulnerability. Whew, y'all, this has been a blessing. I am so excited and I'm so thrilled about what's going to happen in this future. I thank God for allowing me to be able to share and be vulnerable with you guys and be transparent through these 5 days. I really feel like it's going to just bless my soul. And I'm saying this because me being transparent and opening up to you guys is such a huge deal. I have not always been the person to want to tell my personal business. I definitely am extremely private. If you ask some of my closest friends, they will tell you, Jasmine, oh, she is private. When I say private, I mean private. Like when it comes to people I'm talking to or dating, they don't even know the real name sometimes. Like it is serious. Like I am just private. So for God to say, you know what, Jasmine, just share this information. Share this with people and hopefully you guys will get something out of this. And like I always say, if it doesn't bless y'all, it's definitely going to bless me. And I mean that without a shadow of a doubt. I know that I am going to be blessed by just sharing this information because it's going to allow me to be consistent. I can't just come up here and say one thing and then live a different life. It's going to push me to put better efforts in and for me to be consistent with what I'm preaching and what I'm saying. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited for what this channel is going to be. It's not going to always be about spiritual journey. I'm going to definitely have more things to talk about. But when you look into the 5 days of vulnerability, it's definitely showing my walk to Christ and showing different things that I've overcame. And I'm just using different tools that God has given me or I've received from other places. So I'm just really excited to share my story with you guys. So since you guys know about my spiritual journey and know that I'm on a path to Christ, I want to really kind of open up with you guys and let you know my story. So I was born in church. I was pretty much born and raised in church. I was always in church multiple times a week. I mean, all of the time in church. If I wanted to go to a game on Friday night, and Mama was like, "We got church," and I'm like, I was always kind of like the rebellious child. I was a good child, but I low key was kind of rebellious when it came to talking back. Your girl got a mouth on her. I'm just trying to say your girl got a mouth on her. I definitely talked back to my mother, and I definitely was the type of kid who, if you say something and it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't seem like a fair thing, and I know you're not being fair about whatever you're saying, I'm the person to fight back on that. I've always been that way when it comes to school, when it comes to people, when it comes to work. If it's something that is not fair, I'm going to speak up about it. So I felt like my mom, whenever I wanted to go to the games and she said church, I'm like, I go to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You mean to tell me I can't skip one day to go to the game? And and I bring a whole case of why I should go. So it was kind of a very love and hate relationship when it came to church. I love God and I love the people at church, but it put me in a place to where I felt that it pushed me away from living my life. I thought that it was going to push me away from being who I was because I had to change myself in order to be fit to what everybody else wanted me to be or everybody else wanted Jasmine to be. You know what I mean? I had to become this person who I felt like I was not. So that kind of pushed me away from church. I always still go to church and I still love God. But when it came to fully giving my life to God and yielding to God and surrendering to Him, I was always afraid to do that because I felt like once I do that, it's going to give up my personality. I'm going to give up my freedom. I'm going to give up who I am. And I just always kind of had a huge reserve when it came to fully giving my life to God. And now I'm learning that, Jasmine, you can still be yourself. Like, you can still be who you are. You can still love God and you can still continue to build a relationship with Christ. As long as you have that personal relationship with him, as long as you're obeying him, as long as you're taking heed to what he's telling you, you can still be yourself and you can still love God. So that is something that I've just struggled with throughout my years of trying to get to know who God was. If I want to be honest with you, it was difficult. I love to dance. I love to twerk. Okay, I love to shake my little booty from side to side. That's the music on right now, y'all. I'll be like, hey, I love to dance. Your girl likes to dance, okay? So for people to say, I used to put like some dancing videos out every now and then. I would shake my little bump. I would shake my little booty or whatever. But I would always feel like, whenever I put these videos out, how are people going to look at me? Like, are they going to look at me because I am Christian and I can't put these videos out? Like, are they going to give me a certain stigma? What's going to happen? How am I going to be perceived? I've always thought about what other people thought when it came to me and me living my life with Christ. And I was always kind of ashamed, even growing up in school, when it came to me knowing God and me having a relationship with God. I felt ashamed to even share that with my friends. I know God and I know about what he does and how amazing he is. But at the same time, I felt that I was going to be criticized and be called like, oh, she's too saved or she's too this or she's too that. So I always felt ashamed to bring up God in front of my friends. And that kind of just stuck with me for years. I never shared how amazing God was to anybody unless they knew Christ already. But what kind of sense does that make for me to share about how I feel about God when you already know how God is? That makes no sense. I should be wanting to share this with people who don't know who God is and for people who are not aware of God's presence. So I have to let go of that shame, and I'm going to walk into having more security and having freedom when it comes to caring about what other people think about my relationship with Christ. I'm going to continue to be myself. If God is going to criticize me, then he's going to criticize me, and I have a relationship with God so where I can listen to him, take heed to his conviction. But seriously, on a real note, I really felt ashamed. I really felt ashamed of sharing the gospel. I did not know how to talk to people when it came to God. I was just so nervous and I just didn't know how to do it. Even though I was in church for a long time, I would just share how to talk to God. I was always that person who just was like, okay, I ain't gonna be the one to do it, but that's nice. I love it. Y'all keep it up. Keep up the good work. God ain't using me for that. God ain't using me for that. He used me for something else. But no, I just have to be more open and more honest and just share that I would show everybody almost all of me, but when it came to my relationship with God, that was completely closed off. You didn't know that. You didn't know I was in there praying. You wouldn't know I was in there worshiping. You wouldn't know any of that. I did that in my alone time. But what good is it if you don't know who my Father is? Or do you really know me if you don't even know who my Father is? So I feel like it's very important for me to share my relationship with Christ, as to know who he is, just like I know who he is. I'm still building my relationship, and I'm still on the process and the journey of completely surrendering myself to God. And it's such a beautiful thing if you really take a look and get to have a taste of his goodness. That sounds so cliche. It really do. Like, they be saying that in church all the time. But it's for real, though. Like, it really is for real whenever you really just dive in and allow yourself to let go and let God. Dang, I done did it again. 2 things in a row, child. But y'all, just allow yourself to open up to God. And if you don't know who God is, ask him to reveal himself to you. Ask God to give you an open mind, be receptive and able to hear him clearly. So I'm going to dive into all of that later. I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to the Bible, but I do know a lot of other things. I had a moment where I was just worshiping Jesus, and it's funny because I was about to take a shower and I was about to get ready to get me some margaritas. I ain't gonna lie, I said it, yeah. I was about to get me some margaritas later on because my birthday is tomorrow. And I was about to say, Alexa, put on some music. and she put on some music. It was a gospel song, and I was like, that was not the mood I was about to be having in the shower. I was like, I really wanted her to play some Tupac Machiavelli, like, come with me, Hail Mary, do you wanna, like, that was what I was in the mood to listen to. You hear me? But that gospel song came on, and I was like, oh, this hitting, like this hitting. And I got in a moment where I was like, you know what, God, you're so amazing. Like, I really love you. You're so comforting. You're so precious. And I just love how you love me and how you're extending your care upon me. I really appreciate it. So, we all have to get to that place to where we're willing to just give God our all, and where we're willing to just soak up God's love. That was just a little random tidbit I wanted to share. But I'm going to be sharing a lot more information about my celibacy journey. Yes, your girl is celibate. Pray for the kid. Pray for the kid. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all my little struggles. We're going to talk about my spiritual journey. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about how I was talking about sex. Do y'all remember that? I was up here on Facebook and have my little podcast talking about sex a couple years ago. So we're going to just talk about that whole entire thing, and talk about the whole thing in my journey to celibacy. Because that's like on two opposites of the spectrum, okay? So, yeah, I hope you guys are going to stay tuned in. I really appreciate you guys for listening to what I have to share. And, yeah, it's the final day of 5 days of vulnerability. I'm about to be out. Birthday is tomorrow, and I'm about to have a good time with my friends, drinking some margaritas. And, yes, I love God, but I still love Jose. So, anyway, love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.